All right, let's talk about the IB French B standard level exam. For a lot of students, it's pretty intimidating, right? But what if I told you it's not some impossible beast? What if it's actually a code you can crack? In this explainer, we're going to give you the key, the roadmap to do exactly that.
So let's get right to it. The big question, the one everyone's asking, what's the secret to getting a 7? Do you need a flawless native speaker accent? Honestly, no, not really. The real key, as you're about to see, is actually way simpler. It's a formula. And that formula is all about having a smart strategy and really, really understanding how this exam is built. And that's exactly what we're going to break down for you right now.
Okay, look at this. This is so important. It's perfectly balanced. You've got 4 parts, and each one is worth exactly a quarter of your grade. This isn't just a pie chart, you guys. This is your strategic map. It's telling you something crucial. There's no room for a weak link. I mean, it's great if you absolutely smash your oral exam, but that won't save you if your writing paper is a mess. The name of the game here is consistency. You've got to be solid across the board.
All right, first up, let's tackle the first big hurdle. Paper 1, the reading challenge. This is where they throw a bunch of real-world French texts at you and see if you can make sense of them. So here's the deal. You get 1 hour, 60 minutes, that's it. And in that time, you're expected to get through 4, maybe even 5 different texts. The clock is definitely not your friend here, and the texts themselves, they could be anything. 1 minute you're reading a casual blog post, the next you're decoding a super formal business letter, and then boom, a serious news article. Your job is to switch gears instantly, figure out what each one is about, and do it fast. It's all about speed and being able to adapt on the fly. Okay, so we've gone from reading French to now having to write it. Let's dive into paper 2, the writing task. This is where the spotlight swings over to you and your ability to actually create something compelling in French. Now, an hour and a half sounds pretty generous, right? But don't let that fool you. This is a serious challenge. You've got to produce 2 pretty big pieces of writing, choosing from 5 different prompts. And here's the thing you absolutely have to know. Every single prompt ties back to one of the 5 big IB themes. You know, identities, experiences, human ingenuity, all that stuff. This isn't just about whether you know your grammar. It's about whether you can discuss big, complex ideas in French. So knowing those themes cold? Yeah, that's not optional. All right, moving on to the one that, let's be honest, can really stress people out, the listening paper. This is where all that perfect, slow, clear French from your textbook gets thrown out the window. You're now dealing with real-world French, fast, full of different accents, and all the little quirks of natural speech. It's 45 minutes of pure focus. You're going to hear 3 different audio clips. Could be 2 people talking really fast, could be a formal news broadcast, who knows. And the hardest part? There's no pause button. No rewind. You hear it once and you have to process it right then and there. It's a huge test of how well you can think on your feet in French. And finally, we get to the IA, your individual oral. This is the one part of the whole thing where you're not just, a test paper. This is you, one-on-one with your teacher. It's your chance to really show who you are and what you think. Now, don't panic. The whole thing is actually very structured, which should help calm the nerves. You pick a picture, you get 15 minutes to prep, you give a little presentation on it, and then you just talk about it with your teacher. And here's what you need to remember. Most of the time is just conversation. They're not trying to trick you. They just want to have a real discussion about something you've already thought about. So think of it less like a scary interrogation and more like a chat about some interesting ideas. Okay, so we've taken the entire exam apart, piece by piece. We know what it looks like. Now for the most important question. How do you actually beat it? Well, it's time to talk about your ultimate resource toolkit. I love this quote from a student on Reddit because it is 100% true. If you're looking for the one magic trick, the single best thing you can do, it's past papers. Seriously. Do as many as you can possibly find. They're not just practice questions. They're a full-on dress rehearsal for the real thing. You'll learn the timing, you'll get used to how they ask questions, and you'll learn to handle that ticking clock.
So where do you actually get these things? Well, the official route is always best first. Ask your teacher or check out the IBO store. But let's be real. The internet is your friend here. The IB community online is amazing. Places like Reddit and Scribd often have huge archives. And if you want something a bit more organized, websites like Revision Village and Revision Dojo are incredible. They have question banks made specifically for the IB, and honestly, they're worth their weight in gold. But just doing past papers isn't quite enough. You've also got to work on those fundamental skills. Like, is your grammar a bit shaky? A tool like Quizzic is a total game changer. It's got this AI that figures out exactly what you're bad at and then gives you exercises to fix it. Pretty cool. Want something that covers the whole course? Philpott Education has great structured materials. And for speaking and writing, you really need feedback from an actual person. Getting an online tutor, even for just a few sessions, can make a huge difference. Okay, I want you to just look at this number for a second. 75%. Let that sink in. 75% of your final grade comes from those 3 exams we just walked through: the reading, the writing, and the listening. Think about that. 3/4 of your entire 2-year journey comes down to your performance in just a few hours.
So what does that number mean for you? What's the big takeaway? It's this. Your oral IA is important, yes, but the massive weight of your grade is on those written and listening papers. That is where you need to be putting in the hours. Consistent, timed practice for paper 1, paper 2, and the listening exam. That, right there, is the most direct path to getting the score you want. It's really that simple. Look, at the end of the day, the IB French B exam isn't some big, scary, unpredictable monster. It's just a formula. It's a puzzle. It has rules, it has a clear structure, and the types of questions are pretty predictable. Once you learn that formula, all that's left to do is practice solving it over and over again. So the only question left is, are you ready to solve it? Because I promise you, with this roadmap, you absolutely can.